our partner, U-Shop partner, and also Rumi Travels and Traitquest and the community, Hacking HR community. So let's start the whole session. Okay, so a little bit background of the session today is personal sharing on HR leaders. So we got, and so happened more, I think all four of them are in a group called HR Leaders Circle. Right, we will get into that shortly. So a little bit on the background, we're talking about, we're still in a very COVID-19 situations, and I think we are still in a lot of lockdown, cases are still very high. But we want to explore a little bit from the HR leaders, how they were doing on 2020. So it's a whole year where you have a lot of, I think, volatility, you have a lot of uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, VUCA in general, and also I think we have a lot of what we call black swan situations. Okay, without going into much of the details, maybe I pass to June to introduce our first two speakers.
Okay, all right. Very good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Hacking HR, and also Traitquest for having me here to co-moderate together with you. My name is June Yap, and I'm actually focusing on the lifestyle industry. And today we are very pleased to have with us four very dynamic HR practitioners, HR leaders in Malaysia, aligned with today's theme, which is personal stories, getting acquainted and up close personal with the personal stories of our HR Malaysian leaders. So the first person that I would like to have a quick brief intro is actually Miss Grace. Miss Grace Chan. She's actually the group GM of Group GM HR lead in a Berjaya group, and basically it's a very large group, and I think it's a company that everyone knows already. I do not have to brief too much about the company. Grace hails from Terengganu, and it's a green zone area today. Yeah, and basically Grace has many years of experience, so every one of us who are watching here today probably would come from various organizations, small, medium, large entities, so it's great to get to know more about Grace later when we ask her a bit of question. And a little bit about Siu Lee. Miss T. Siu Lee, she's actually currently the the HR director of Siva Logistics, and she also has 23 years collectively HR experience tagged along with her over the years, and she has come from many industries in her accolades. I'm not going to list it out. You can go to her LinkedIn and to find out more. So over to you, Leo, to introduce another two dynamic speakers today.
So from me, I will start with Chee, or known as Johnny. Right? Facebook name. Yeah, so I think he has been a very dynamic speaker, sharing session. Past years, you actually have seen him in a lot of event sharing. A little bit on of himself. He's from TDCX, and also a short introduction. He's the EVP for HR in TDCX. So I just learned and found out that they have about 250 HR team size. A little bit about him. He's from Penang, all the way from the north.
Oh.
Me, yeah. Okay, and he has like a total of 16 plus 14 years, I think almost 30 years of experience, 16 years of HR, 14 years in Intel. Yeah, so I did a little bit of digging. Okay. Fun facts. All right, we want to try something else, so we have fun facts. He likes to spend time at jacuzzi and sauna. Do gardening at 1 a.m. We will explore why later. And morning exercise, coffee, evening Netflix and whiskey. Okay, so this is Chee. And then next we have Felicia. Felicia is from Fuji Xerox. She's the GM HR from Fuji Xerox. She has like total 32 years experience in HR. So I think we have a group of people today with a lot of vast experience of HR,
I think combined now, how many years?
That's sensitive question. Okay, she's from KL. A little bit of fun facts about Felicia. She said that give her a bed, nice clean place, she can sleep in seconds.
Oh.
So best roommate ever. And she bakes when she's stressed. So I think we will get to eat a lot of desserts, right? And she's an ad hoc traveler. She likes to travel a lot. And let's go, yeah, jalan. Okay. So I think without going into all the details, I pass back to June to start our very first segment.
Right.
Oh yeah, before that, sorry, I forgot. Can we have everyone to turn on your camera for group photo sessions? So I think this is a good time where we can just capture this. Yeah, can everyone turn on
turn on camera so that we can have a good memory that we were here?
Oh, Joachim, hi.
Clara.
So Joachim is our friendly counterpart from Disrupt HR.
Kenneth also. Kenneth inside, everyone is inside. Okay, so let me get it done. So in 3, 2, 1,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the count of 3, 2, 1, smile.
Okay, good.
Captured?
Then another one.
Another one
Yeah,
now.
Another page.
Another
also.
page.
Okay.
Alright. Okay. At the count of 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot. Right, so let's start our very first segment. Basically, the first 3 segments, we will have 3 core segments section to get to know a little bit more about the personal insights to the speakers today. So the very first segment, we would like to just get acquainted with regards to their journey, how they've started their journey in the career in HR and lasted and sustained their passion in this career. So basically, would like to ask probably Siri for a start, right? Some of you may not have started, some of you, right? Basically, I think through a conversation, some of you may not have started your career, in HR, but some of you may have. So we would like to know, how did you actually started cross path, enlightenment in your journey in HR?
Okay, I think back in 1997, I never choose HR, or actually coincidentally, I need to find a permanent job, yeah. So when I decided not to continue my study back in 1997, finished my Form 6. So from the past experience when I worked part-time in the Citibank, I was placed in the HR department. So at the junction, I need to choose a permanent job. This is the first thing came into my mind, right? So the headhunter asked me, what do you want to look for in your job permanent? So I say, let me think about it. Why do I choose HR? Where I spent about 6 months, replacing someone who on maternity. So that is where I landed into HR. I got my first job in the MPHB, and that goes my 23 years in HR. I'm still enjoying today, yeah. So I think I discovered the joy of, in HR itself when I need to deal with people. I really enjoy, yeah. So create a workplace that is best for everyone is happy, and then have their career growth, that is where my passion landed in, yeah. So that's where
Thanks for sharing that, Siri.
Yeah.
And how about you, Grace? We are like many years, especially go down memory lane, like, just want to be inspired, all of us here like, wow.
My background actually more on learning and development. My passion is more people development. I always resist HR because at the time when I started my career in learning and development, HR is just an administrative role. It was never very strategic role. So I always resist HR because to me it's just an administrative role until about 8 years ago. I was headhunted to join Berjaya Group. That is where I started my full HR career actually, 8 years ago. And I'm the type of person who like to see things changed for the better. So I implemented a lot of things. I could say that I'm actually a change champion because I always like to challenge status quo, how do we do things better. So I managed to change some of the HR role that in my company from administrative to more strategic. We wrote out a lot of strategic plan for the Berjaya Group. So that's why I enjoy my career very much being an HR because I believe that I can make a change. That's
Thanks so much for sharing. Change, right? And Felicia, down memory lane. How did it all started?
Let me think for a while.
How years ago?
Did you actually start from
Yeah.
HR career, or exactly
Yeah,
what did you started with, and how did that cross,
Yeah. I got into HR, I guess by accident, honestly. Maybe my face, looks very trustworthy, I think. So I was given the task of doing payroll. That is a pure, very important role, right? When I started doing it, I was like, oh, how am I going to do this, But the moment I got into the job, I begin to see, and then I think the joy of seeing everybody's salary, all the way from, the top to bottom, or rather, wow, I said, yes, this is something really, you have the power, right? You have the power. Wow, okay, enjoy. And it goes on for a while. Then during that time, that organization, the union started. There was a request, or rather recognition, union recognition came in, right? So then I was then tasked to take care of processes of union recognition. Then that carry on with, that become more interesting. Learning the Industrial Relation Act, Trade Union Act, you get into that by accident again. So there goes, yeah, there goes from payroll to union, and then got into union negotiation. Of course, I have then my mentor to help me, Until now, if you ask me anything about payroll, nobody can bluff me. So every single day now, whether it attracts CPF or whether tax or whatever, I would know that. So now then, you don't know, the whole journey just started like that, and then one thing lead to another, and here I am, right? Doing from anything, it's actually across the whole spectrum of HR. I grew in that. So as I said, I have to think for a while. Very diverse, yes, very diverse. Very diverse, yeah.
And Johnny, how about you? Did you also started from HR or not? What I remember just now is
computer science, Intel.
True. So I have 36 years. Maybe Leo is counting 30 because 4 years is in universities. Maybe you look at my LinkedIn, right? So yes, graduated from USN in IT, and as an ambition person, my goal is to become a CTO. That's why I joined the IT department, and mainly on the supply chain. Of course, so it means that I didn't start from HR. So then later over the years, I was given opportunity to move to support HRIS. So anything on digital, so that's where my experience over 20 years in the digital. So that's why I was given, but that was a regional role, that's a business transformation. So I was given opportunity even in HRS to transform com and bank, to transform HRBP. So that's where I start to learn, even from IT, to learn about HR. And also like Felicia, I get an opportunity to look at the global salary. And I found that HR salary is also not bad. So I said, wow, maybe one day I should go to HR. But then I was given an opportunity to move back to manufacturing. So I did manage manufacturing on the supply chain. That's how you get to know that I know about Lean, I know about Six Sigma. At the later stage, I was given an opportunity, headhunted to move out to KL. So the rest is history. That's where I started my career, mainly back to HR. So I remember, HR is do pay well. So I remember got one time that I don't want to move to KL, but I just want to just give one amount. If you want me, this is the amount that I'll go down. So they willing to pay me. So the rest are history. So maybe there's a destiny for me to be in HR. But I love to impact the life of others. That's why one of the reasons why I moved to HR. In my off time, I do a lot of coaching, and I also noticed that when I was in the business, I tend to tell HR, I need you all to support me in terms of business. Don't talk so much on the HR event. I like you to add value to me. So that was always what I partnered with the HRBP in particular. And when I move to HR, it's always something in my mind. How do we as a HR add value to the business? It's not about HR event, it's not about performance management, right? But how do you use performance management to build a high-performing team? So those are the things that is always in my mind. So over the last, since I'm in KL almost 12 years, so the last 12 years, I continue my journey in HR. And one of my ambition is, of course, like all of you all, to be the head of HR. And of course, one of my goals is to manage the group. So now I was given an opportunity to manage the group. So still here I are. So currently I work more than 12 hours because I have to support different regions. But I love the job, right? I love the job, and I'm sure that all my sisters also love it. And that's why we always have a young child, right? To motivate each other. But that's how. So what I'm trying to say is that it's always an opportunity, and be open for any opportunity that come across you, and don't plan too much, because you will change throughout the process. So mindfulness, look at the moment and look at the opportunity, and then move on, right? So that's what I believe. I never thought that I can end up in TDCX, for example. I never thought I can be in 6 different organizations. I never thought I would end up in HR. So, but what I'm trying to share with all of you, this is where I am. Not a HR, but end up in HR. But the most important thing is be open-minded, open up for opportunity, and be ready when opportunity arises.
Well, thank you
Wow,
so much
goodness.
for sharing just my very first question and insights to your journey, how it all started. Why basically this question we want to share is so that all our viewers that's watching, all right, are able to understand that, hey, you know, like what Chee has mentioned, it doesn't mean that you did not have a HR degree or you started, you know, studying and you can't actually have a career in HR. So my very second question is just for inspiration, all right, is what's your best moment, right? HR function is very big. Yeah, it's a very big umbrella for big organizations. Of course, for smaller organizations, it's very small function. Yak Yok Tech means one leg kick. You know, sometimes you might have to oversee a small team. So, what inspired you most over the years? Right, so many years of experience. One best moment, yeah, that kept you going, you know, to build your career in HR today. Like some of you, like Felicia mentioned, it was payroll, you know, started from there, and then it grew from IT, you know, and a very exciting dynamic environment, and then giving you an opportunity, you started a career. L&D is your passion. And Siuli, what's yours?
I think started from 23 years in HR. What really the best moment in my career is really something like you see that the opportunity you can change, right? And when you landed into the organization, you wanted to impact some changes to make the place a better place to work, and you also see people are growing in their role itself. They keep learning. So I think that is something that really keep me going. And you know, you like GK say, we can impact some life, right? So we can coach the younger one to be a better manager in their future. You can see the people manager performing better, you know, and then brings the value to the business. So that is something that, you know, keep us really going and inspire us to do it better. Yeah, we also keep learning from each other. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Shirley. We have to speak a bit louder. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for indicating. And how about you, Grace? What's your personal best moment that you enjoy and kept you going until today?
I think the best thing I enjoy since I joined Vijaya was I was given a lot of empowerment to do a lot of things that have never done before. So thanks to my boss who really trusts me and my team to implement a lot of projects. And I think one of the best things that I felt that I managed to do is actually to just able to convince the management just go on one HR system, because in the whole Vijaya group we have about 16 different payroll systems before I joined, because each of the subsidiaries is doing their own payroll. So we managed to convince the management to have one payroll system only, and not only payroll system, we also managed to go ESS, we have performance, we have training and so forth. So this is, I think, one of the greatest achievements that I achieved. And it's about what kind of impact I can bring to the organization. That is to have only one payroll system, and then to have the database of all the employees. Like Chee said, you can see all the companies employees payroll, you know, inclusive of the senior management. But that is the the information that we have to keep, is very private and confidential, we cannot spill, so we just have to see the number, that's it, So that is what I enjoy the most, to be able to make the impact, to the whole organization, which has about 12,000 employees.
Wow, that's really something to to keep you motivated, to have that kind of big impact. How about you, Felicia? There's definitely many memorable moments, but one of it.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of yeah. Sorry, what?
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
So the best moment I'm trying to recall now is actually seeing, similar to what Siu Lee says, seeing people grow. I had very good experience when I was with Bayer. I had the opportunity working with the consultant, working with senior leadership, to have a group of high potential that we selected from each country, and then we went through this assessment center where we put them through assignments and looking at how they perform during the assignments. From there, you see how they demonstrate. We were looking for, of course, certain competency, we were looking at it, and we could see them demonstrating it, and then not only during that moment, that was like we locked them up for about 3 days in
the room.
Yeah, in the site, and that's it for the 3 days. And from there, we identify what are their strengths, what are their area that they could grow, and what are the plans the company have for them. And during those kind of observation, you see some, of course, try to outdo the other, but we could see that being experienced leaders, because we have very senior leadership people with us. So from there, you can actually see them, yes, they perform, and what do we do next? So as an organization, we arrange program for them, we put them on projects, we arrange things for them so that they can grow in their role. Now, of course, there's a target role for them. Now, seeing them grow in that, selecting them is a process, putting them through that process, seeing them grow, I think that's really, really my moment that I really enjoy most. Able to impact life.
Yes.
Because it's very important as an observer, right?
Yep.
You are the one writing on that score sheets.
Yep, correct.
But again, that score sheet is not only written by you. There are across
series of people.
There's a group of people that. But then again, what you said, how you assess, is very important. So those kind of moments, I think, as a leader, we ourselves have to be very clear in terms of what's the expectation, what do we want. Either, you see, sometimes when going through this kind of, we call it then assessment center, it can either break the person or grow the person.
Yes, definitely.
So some people who go there and they say, they come out and they say, why am I not successful? Very careful. So those kind of things, as a leader, as a HR, we have to be very, very objective, very, very clear about how we manage those talents. And some will just leave, if you don't manage carefully. So that's why you really need to spend the kind of time with them. Not only spending that time, but of course their journey, how they grow with the organization. It's actually an employee experience with the organization.
Yes, impact lives and employees' experience. Well, basically this moment that Felicia has is actually part of one of the main function of managing key talents of organization and being able to see how you can grow the talent to move across function as well. So how about you, Johnny?
Same, I think Felicia already talked about it. What motivates people to impact the life of others. So I have two. One is impact the life of others. The one is to get HR recognized, right? It's a very add value to the organization. So impact others is I tend sometimes to hire juniors for even a head position, and I grow them. And it's always good to see that they are successful in the role. And when I move out from an organization, it's always I'm very proud to say that I see them success over my role, right? So these are what, and when you leave, they will share about the story how I impact their life, and that motivates me. That's number one. Number two, I like to work with the youngsters, the what I call the management trainee. So there are two group of management trainees that are very close to them. In fact, I go to Zoom with them. This is Samsung, we call it SAE, and the other one is MA for AIA. So I'm very close, and I see how they grow and how until now they became a head of a function, right? So and that's motivated me to continue impact the life of others, not only for HR team but also the youngsters, the cream of the crop, and how I continue to mentor and grow them. And that's motivate me. The other one is to get HR recognized. I'm very proud to say that over the years I have two of my team members be recognized as the best employee across the company, right? And that sometimes is tears just flowing around to say that how we as a HR can be really recognized as a company and impact, because you are also fighting against the sales team, the operation team, other departments, but then how HR can stand out. But there's always a possibility as long as we impact the organization. And I'm very proud to have two of my staff be recognized as the best employee. Yeah, so that's pretty much some of the
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And basically, what we have collectively here, I could sum it that impacting lives and being able to see the assets of an organization growing is collectively, I could say that it's pretty similar, in all the HR practitioners who actually entered and stayed on in this career. So I have just one quote to sum this segment, which is, inspiring each and every one of us is, allow your passion to become your purpose, and it will one day become your profession, since when it all started. So don't give up. Beginning is always the hardest. Whether you started studying HR or you wanted to switch from whatever you're studying, it's not easy, but good things fall apart, better things can fall together. So we could see from this inspirational journey, right, our HR practitioners here, how they build their career and impact lives, and seeing, how big organizations with many lives to touch and to impact. Yeah, it depends on the HR practitioners, in the organization. So our next segment, second segment, I would like to pass on to Leo.
Thank you, June. So you have set the standard so high. Now I have to start writing code. I have to think some code. Okay, so we are into the next segment. So what I hear from June and the rest of the speakers earlier, there's a lot of impacting life. There's a lot of changes happening. There's a lot of inspiring, the younger generations or even the junior, that they have grown from the journey. About yourself then, what about yourself? Because a lot of that you talk about impacting others. What about impacting yourself? What would be, maybe to some of the audience we saw there's a question, what does it take to be HR? Right? What sort of advice you would have from your personal experience? The other part also, we may also want to look into, for this year, how has it changed? I mean, with the pandemic, MCO, we have CMCO, we have RMCO, I don't know, there's a lot of MCO happening. I'm lost. So maybe we start with Chee. You want to share a little bit, how do you manage that in day to day, as a HR, from your own self.
So I have opportunity to look at two sides, right? Dealing with machine and then dealing with people. Actually, I mean IT, right? And then and HR is a lot of things to deal with people. And that's where the complexity of HR coming in. Actually, HR job is actually very straightforward compared to technical in terms of programming. But then because of you cannot have one size fit all when managing the people. That's why you make the whole HR become more complex. So it all will go down to the level of your passion. So I always believe that you have passion, you will continue and like the job that you're doing as HR, because you're going to hear a lot of complaint. It's going to be a place for you to be shoulder to cry on. At the same time, emotionally, you need to handle yourself. So I always told my HR team, we need to be able to help ourselves so that we can help others. If we cannot help ourselves, we cannot help others. So we need to be motivated, especially in today's environment, right? Unfortunately enough that we are not downsizing, so that's one thing good. We are growing. But I can imagine that when we are downsizing, can you imagine you mentally need to be able to prepare yourself and support your organization. For me, we are growing. So I also told my team that let's work harder because we will impact the life of others by giving people job.
Yeah.
And that's what we are now doing. And some of my team members are working over the weekend, and I appreciate that because I told them that you might one day difference and giving somebody a job will make their life different, especially when they have to feed their family. And that what I hope that's what my message. I hope that I can motivate my team members who have to work hard behind that, right? Because we found that people are employed, but at the same time we have a position. Why can't we speed up our hiring process where we have budget to hire? Okay. Going back, what's your next question? I forgot.
Oh, yeah, it's, yeah.
Okay. Typical day in MCO or outside?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So actually, there's a different because I've been working from home since March 18th until now. And I have a daily hurdle with my team. That's one. I used to have a face-to-face. Now there's a big change. Okay. And of course, we are still focusing on what we need to deliver, as I mentioned, right? And the only thing that I would say, although even I have a lot of meetings with my team, and I spend almost more than 8 hours meetings, right? And maybe more than 50% with my team. The only thing that sometimes is that the emotion side that we overlook. Sometimes, yes, we will meet them, we hear them, but I always believe that we always have a two journey, our work journey and our life journey. And sometimes our life journey are hidden. And it become more hidden right now because everyone is working from home.
Yeah.
We don't know what they are facing.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't see that. And that is what I have been over the last 6 months. Be mindful a bit on that area, especially giving the more emotion support to the team.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chee. Felicia. So I know Chee, most of the setup is working from home remotely, right? I know some of us not that privileged. How about yourself? How about your side?
Yeah, Chiki said it all. Said it all. I mean, yeah, I will just add to what Chige said, true. I think the emotional part is very important. We don't see ourselves. Like now, back to the MCO, COVID-19. We start with MCO, then CMCO, RMCO, now CMCO, right? MCO, you don't see anybody. The most you see them on the screen, right? Yes. So, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, the emotional part. We miss that. Sometimes we miss that. We are so focused because just imagine MCO that time. You are. There's so many things that you need to take into consideration, right? The whole HR community suddenly become frontliner.
Yes.
We see that, right? In our circle.
Yeah.
Suddenly we become the frontliner for our organization, right? Because we need to be aware what's happening, what need to be taken care of, what people will come to you, hey, this thing happened, what do we do, IT not fixed, they say, hey, can I send my guys over, all those kind of things. So there's a lot of things to take care. Suddenly we forgot about our team. We push our team, hey, can you answer to that? No, do you answer to this or no? Do you do this or no? We forgot our people. So, but little thing that I did, suddenly I remember there was one of our business partner. He said, hey, Felicia, you want to send this or not? Thing you don't remember. So I sent a little care pack. Care pack, I remember that, And I was so tempted I want to order one for myself because nobody ordered for me,
Yeah.
I ordered for all my team. I said, so nice. How about ordering one for myself? So then I got messages coming in from my team to me. I was like, oh, that was really good. Yeah, that was really. So those are little things that you can do. But again, I fully agree with Chike. Sometimes we really, really forgot about the emotional part. So don't miss that. Don't miss that. Yeah. Our team are there to do for us. Without them, we are nothing. Without your team, you are nothing. That's just it. But again, as I said, a lot of deliverable, more so now for me in Fuji Xerox, because we have from warehousing to services to the customers, right? We have engineers that go out on to customers' place. So we need to be in the office. But my HR team, some are working from home, depending we are on schedule. Some are actually in the office, and I'm usually most of the time I'm in the office, just to make sure that because we still have staff working and HR need to be there, right?
For the most part, it's like almost 80%
Yeah.
from office and then sometimes at
I
home.
would say no, probably 60-40 or 70-30 at some time, yeah. So depending on most of the support or the back office or the corporate function, they work from home, but not all on arranged schedule. As for the others, they work from office, especially our warehouse, logistics, those engineers. But engineers, they travel from home to the customer's place, but they don't come into the office. So again, how does I manage this, right? That was your next question, right? Yes, I have to be very, very consciously aware that my people are those in the office. I need to take care as well. Of course, deliverable. That's one thing, and then making sure that emotionally check in with them, regular check in. So what I've started is I have this weekly huddle, quite similar to yours. In this weekly huddle, what do we do is either it's online or actually we started that somewhere, I think in RMCO. Now, even though MCO was checking on individual basis, but sometimes miss. Now, then RMCO, we do that more often because most of us were back in the office. We had this weekly huddle. Usually we have it on Monday. What do they do? What do we do on weekly huddle is basically just checking in everybody in the room. No notes, no minutes taking, nothing. Just casual, candid, and say, what did you do good last week? And what were you very happy about last week? What did you achieve last week? Share. It wasn't driven by me, but driven by the team.
So it's more like a recognition, appreciation.
Yeah, they share among themselves. And I just listen. I'll just jump in, just chip in. Then that first part. Second part is what will keep you busy this week. And why do we do that? Because so that we can help each other. Just be aware of each other. What are we doing? So checking in. So just actively helping each other. So my role was sometimes for what I don't even know what they do. You don't even know what they do. No, that's the scariest part.
Yeah, I say that you have KPI driven as well. Just as long as I don't really care, you manage your home, you just get your KPIs done, and then we are okay, right?
Yeah, KPI is one, but I guess it's more of deliverable, something that you committed that you want to do. Just simple as something that somebody asks you for some feedback, you better answer the person. So this sort of checking I find very, very good. But sometimes, of course, when we get busy, we miss one or two. But doesn't matter. It won't kill. So you just carry on and do whatever we need to do. But make sure that we are checking into each other, checking in with each other.
So for maybe the other two speakers, I up the ante a little bit. So because Chee answered most of
You can change
Yes,
the no
correct.
problem.
So
Yeah.
I think that one was more really from the work aspect. What about now family aspect? Yeah, because I think So Silly first.
She got young children, yeah.
Yes,
I
yes.
think
She got 5 boys.
yeah, I got 5 boys.
Oh.
5.
I think this year is very challenging, and it actually passed very, very fast for me, because as many of you in the HR circle, I just started this job in January. I was just still busy with my onboarding, my orientation, and the MCO kick in. So I had to pick out to understand the business operation, how to make sure it's still smooth running without any interruption. We are in the logistic. Early, there are a lot of confusion whether we are fall under the essential, whether we need approval. There are so much thing, not to mention now we have been checking with each other, how to raise this through. So why, that is on the work side. But on the family side,
I have 4 boys, yeah. Those that know me personally know that I have 4 boys, and they are all stay at home now. And it is quite challenging because, like, you have to really help them, facilitate them their online classes, and you have to make sure the primary school need to log in their homework, and for them it's something new as well, correct? Because primary school, where got people learn how to use the Google Class to attend the class, how to position the video. So I have to give them a short course to teach them how to submit their homework. When I come back from my work, I have to check in. Those are the job while you are busy settling for the work. And you got the call from a teacher to say that, hey, this boy didn't attend this class. Hey, boy didn't submit homework. Yeah, it's a very interesting journey. I think I'm also very grateful for my husband, who can actually spend most of the time at home to really help them and take care of them. So I do not have any worry when I need to go to the office to do my job, right? To also still make sure my operation is running smoothly, and at home there's somebody really taking care of them. Doing this MCO, he even pick up cooking, simple one, just to make sure the mom at home is fit well, and yeah, I think it's a very, very interesting journey. And that is from the personal side. And I also got another worry because my mom is staying in JB with my youngest brother, and my youngest brother is working in Singapore. He got strength in Singapore, so she's alone. I cannot cross stage to pick her up. So what I have to do is just have to give her a daily call. And lucky enough, I also have a friend that stays in JB. I also ask him on and off, go and check in with my mom, anything that he need. So I think throughout this period, we discover a lot of good friendship, and also you discover certain skill that you do not have. Like, I'm the mother of 4. I don't know how to cook, yeah. So the MCO, what I need to do is that in the dinner time, you call my mom to cook this one. Your grandkids really want to eat, how to cook, or I have to have my YouTube in front of me when I'm cooking. So I think that is a very interesting thing that we pick up. We learn something. I think my belief is always that whatever doesn't kill you make you stronger. So you pick up a lot, right? So we become somebody that we learn some new skill, we make some new friendship, and some of the friends that we may not be so close, but we become closer because of this sharing, the learning from each other. Yeah, so that is really from my personal side. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Zuri. Grace.
Okay, I'm all over with the schooling and my daughter. Okay, I only have one daughter, and she's already started to work. So I don't have to worry so much. It's more that to make sure that she's safe. So she work from home because she's in the digital marketing company. So everything, she can work from home. I think for me, it's more on overcoming the stress that I have, actually both work and also personal, because during the MCO, I had kneecap surgery. Yeah, that was, I think, one of the most challenging operation I have ever done, because I couldn't walk, not mobile, and I had to take care of myself in that sense, but lucky I have my husband, my even my maid and my daughter were supporting me at that time, and on the work side, we had to work out a lot of things because we still work from home at that time, MCO, and I was under a lot of stress because the management is, looking at, I think some of you already received you received some of the viral memo about Vijaya. Was one of the few company that actually took out the austerity measures, because we were impacted, especially we have our hotels and resort, that they were impacted the most by the MCO, and our F&B, everything was shut down. So it's something we need to do. So during the MCO, during my MC, I work as usual, really, and even until weekend, middle of the night, 11 o'clock, thinking, what am I doing? I'm supposed to be on MC. But you know what? That is what we have to do. Like Felicia was saying, that we become frontliner.
Yeah.
People are looking for us, to look at Grace. What we have to do? How long the MCO is going to be? When we go back to office, what should we do? Should we wear 50%? Team A, that kind of thing. There's a lot of questions, which some of it I don't even have the answer, because I guess this is unprecedented. As an HR, we don't know what to do, but lucky we have a group of HR leaders circle. We share each other's, what we want to do, and then I think from there I learned a lot, that you have to do something which is fit to your organization culture. All right, like for now, most of us come back to the office and work. In fact, we did not work from home. Some of the work still, you have to be in the office. And in fact, most of my team, they want to be in the office, because they are in the remote area. Some of them do not have internet access and all that. And that actually make us realize in this MCO, we need to be very agile and then change. We are not fast enough in terms of IT. I think a lot of company also share with me that they did not prepare well enough for this, even after last few months, right? So what I did is that I managed to change most of the PC to laptop now. So this one is to prepare for the worst in case, you know, we have another lockdown. So we were lucky, we managed to change, I think about 80% of our HR's teams PC to laptop. So they can do payroll, you know, so salary is still on. We did not delay even 1-2 days. I think the most 1-2 days on salary. So my team are well prepared in the sense that they know that they have to get the payout. All right. So some of them are willing to come back, and now we have laptop already. So we are not so worried now. I think we are more prepared now in a sense. Now for me, the stress at home, yes, I know, back to my personal. What I do is I share with them also. I say I watch Korean drama. That was and I choose you know, it can be romantic or even it can be comedy. You know, that light up. You know, after 1-2 hours, I feel so relaxed. And of course, the other thing is I bake. You know, I bake. The one of the challenge that I took from my friend is to bake sourdough bread. Okay, until the 4th and 10th only I become success. But you know what? I learned from the baking, even because we need to try many things. You know, you don't give up. And then the help of few people, the tips and all that given to my colleague. 2 of my colleagues really good at baking sourdough. This is the thing that I enjoy the most. So that's why something to learn also during MCO. I guess a lot of us become bakers, become chef, you know. So this is what I think how I distress myself to take care of my emotional part. So if you ask me, I say my energy is still very high, you know, to overcome this, you know, whichever challenges that's coming. You know, we need to really very strong.
Yeah. Thank you, Grace. I think just one of the question was not planned, was I thought of it because when we have this session few months back, we asked I think about 100 HRs whether do they prefer if going back to work from home or working remotely or even working from the office. And the number we found out that most HR don't prefer to work from home.
Because we are people person, right? We want to interact with people.
And the fact that I think also most people found that suddenly HR has to work around the clock. You have to work really on the dot to answer questions like what Felicia said, or even you have to be prepared with information to answer the management, or even your team. Your whole group of staff are depending on you for information. What to do, logistic, whether do we start or not start. Right. So, and also one more thing I wanted to find out, if you were to choose again, right? If it's a choice. So we know some companies now start to say, oh, the whole year we will be working from home policy. Would you want that policy? Would you implement that policy?
I guess just how we mentioned, there is never one size fits all, right? It all depends on the industry you're coming from and also how mature is your workforce, right? Like example, take me, I am from the logistic industry, right? 70% of workforce is in the warehouse, right? It's operation. How are you going to work from exactly? That is a physical body needed into the workplace. No, what we can do is really showing our care to make sure the environment is conducive, is safe enough for them to work, right? And you know, the most we can do during the MCO is stagger the working hour to drag it longer, but still deliver the same time, right? So for the office folks, for now that you know, we are trying very hard to implement that because I told my team and my manager, you give them flexibility, because you have to understand the school is closed, right? For the parents that have a young kids at home, how are they going to ask them to come to work, right? If you're a working parent, you take turn rotate, right? If you need to come to the office, arrange with your spouse and manager. You have to have the empowerment to manage because only you know your team, right? It's not us HR to like babysitting everyone. I got more than 1,000 workforce, and then minus out the 60%, I still have a big group of the office staff. It's not possible for us to monitor each of everyone. Which day you come to work in the office, which day you're working from home. Every people manager have to take the accountability. That is a big change in this organization because they used to follow single direction, Now you are empowered to manage your workforce and you are empowered to decide whether you can allow them to work from home or you need them to come to office. So I think that is something that I see change. And I think I'm quite happy to see how it progressed today. It's already like close to 1 year in this organization. Because they are in a very manual working environment, right? Like you say, we still have so many people using desktop. I cannot. So the first thing I did to change that all the desktop in HR first need to change the laptop. Yeah, and any replacement of the IT equipment cannot be desktop anymore, have to go to laptop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what we do that during the MCO, when people need the desktop to work, we actually ask them to on their desktop in the office. So IT came up with this solution. I don't know what is that, but if so long you on your desktop in the office, you can actually remote access the system from home using your personal laptop. So this is one of the option that we have now. So I also see the fast track of the IT infrastructure, whatever project they want to implement, maybe for 3 years plan, they had to actually brought it forward this year to do, right? So this is the changes that I see is on the positive side.
Yeah, I actually want to echo on what Julie had to say, because we need to change a lot of things, and most of our employees actually work from, work in the office. And on the IT side, my team had to learn what we call Zoom meeting. All right, okay. A lot of them, struggle with the Zoom meeting because during the MCO, that is the the device that we use. The system that we use, Zoom meeting. So all of them use their handphone. Even office boy, when I need to get in touch with them, they have to learn because they are in the at home. Like you say, you want to make sure that they are safe and okay. So as why I can see them on the screen, they're all right. So my head of unit was quite good. They actually learn, they teach each other. So when I say, okay, online, I can manage to see. So I was quite amazed that office boy even know how to use handphone to switch on to use the Zoom. I think this is something that we need to move forward. And also during the MCO, so I quickly get my team to do online workshop. All right. One of the things that we managed to do is that the stress management during the MCO, we managed to get one of the psychologists to actually share how you manage stress during the MCO and all that. So I think this is some of the things that we need to be very, very fast in terms of moving out with whatever is going on in front of us. You cannot work too long. So my L&D team, people like Lawrence, Yvonne, Sean, and my team, they are quite fast, they're quite young. They easily pick up, and then we conduct every month the MCO, CMCO, and all that. Every time at least there is a lunch talk, we call it. So and then we have 100 over people locked, to have online learning because they can log in anytime, anywhere. Unlike last time we have talk, it's only restricted to head office staff. Now all our subsidiaries. Even what we did, I found that very satisfying is that I challenged my team to have a HR synergy meeting. Because we never have HR synergy meeting. That is where Chee, we invited Chee. We invited the speaker.
Very well.
Yes. And the HR synergy meeting is supposed to have every quarterly, but because of MCO we do not have, and it's face to face. So I challenged my team, why don't you consider using Zoom? And then which are the speakers? So Lawrence managed to get Chee to be one of the speakers, and so Alex to be one of the speaker. And you know what? The HR from the Berjaya group of company, even from US, from Vietnam, from Singapore, they lock in. I was so amazed, and this is the first time that we really feel connected. In the HR, because or else we just see them and visited them in the country. I went to Vietnam, I only see a HR team when I visit them. But that's why I think something good coming out from the MCO is we learn how to do things online, and then we are connected, all over the world. Regardless, it's like what I call borderless lah. You can get connected, borderless. So I found that we are now closer to each other, and they really like the thing that Chee share. All right, and Alex, there's so many questions I think on Chee sharing. So I think this is something that really unexpectedly sometimes you need to just step up already. I told my team, you need to step up to do something different that had never out of comfort zone. Because they say, oh, Grace, there's no this MCO, how are you going to conduct CG? I say, have you thought about online? Okay. And you know what? They make a lot of effort to learn and how to do Zoom, how to make sure that everybody is see on the screen, a lot of things they rehearse few times. So that's why I said really something good. You never know that what you can come up with, when we are in the difficulty.
This is really a new skill we pick up, right?
Yeah.
So, it's also for me to learn and teach our people that, how to go all the training online. Initially, I also thought that, we can teach people how to manage their stress online. I said, why not? Right? Let's do it and try. And actually, for now, online learning is something that's so common in our organization now. It's nothing surprising. We even teach people how to handle your stress, how to present yourself in front of the screen, right?
Yes,
the video,
yes.
the Zoom, the team, right? Something interesting.
Presenting in front of just a simple act of asking anyone to sit in front of a camera and talk, and then being broadcast is stress itself already.
Thanks, Grace and Emily. I think we want to take one question from Facebook. This is from another peer. As any, so maybe I direct this to now Felicia and Chee. So do you all feel more stressed working from home or in the office during pandemic?
For me, it's working from home. You locked in the minute you wake up, brush your teeth, straight away on the laptop already. Without even your coffee yet. Go straight on the laptop, quickly check, and then and then it takes you all the way to midnight. So now you understand why Chee do gardening at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Now you understand. Working from home.
Yeah.
Working from home.
Okay, Mom, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I think our problem is get ourselves disconnect, and that's why it's always good to know how you start the day and how you end the day.
Yeah.
That's why I always end the day with Netflix and whiskey and
Gardening.
after the Netflix only I go and do gardening.
It's like I didn't want to pry too deep, but we also found out from a lot of HR peers, right? During working from home, they say it's a nightmare. Not only work, but personal life. Because for the first time, most husband and wife now together in the confined area for 3 months. But we don't dig so deep. Whiskey already tells the answer. So I think probably we pass to the next segment where we actually dig deeper into what Grace, Yuli, and Felicia, Chee mentioned about stress, about lifestyle. Yeah, right. So I pass back to June for the next segment.
Alright, so it was a really great insight to dig a little bit deeper, more about what was your typical day like since MCO, right? And how you all manage your day-to-day at home and at work. So we dig deeper a little bit further where we just continuing from what Leo has mentioned. Talking about the facts and insights, right? It's definitely more stressful, somehow or rather to be just working from home, seeing if you have kids, at home and you have to juggle with the noise and then managing work and life at home in one place, it's gonna drive us crazy without us realizing. All right, and also sometimes it's about the mindfulness. When we get angry, we don't realize it also. So talking about just context before I ask a question to y'all, is basically we have also noticed that hormonal changes, hormonal imbalance does happen because of stress. Okay, and there's a lot of cases that's happening, at home. All right, so all these situations, it may not have been happened to you, but just bringing it up on the context of how did you manage to balance your lifestyle, right? For everyone's benefit to also learn, because all of you presented different lifestyle at home. Some of you are just, kids grown up. Some of you still have kids at home. So it's great insight for our fellow friends who can actually learn some tips from you, how you manage to bounce back since MCO and the changes, in your lifestyle, you manage, your mental state of mind, your own well-being. What did you do? What did you do that we can get some tips? Have you faced any challenges in your health, or your mental state of mind? Did it change enough from, before MCO? Because knowing the fact that just now we even mentioned about, HR, right? The team entire workforce actually became very, very, very relevant and became so important. And your task is like almost standby 24/7. Sometimes there's changes, the new announcement that's happening, from government, so everything you have to be on your toe. So it does add element to stress. If it's not you, means your team member as well, especially if you empower your team to take on certain roles, right? So context is there, so we just want to have insights on your personal front. How did you manage? Probably we would like to hear from Grace first. Oh, also to add the fact, we understand that we learned that to add on the stress ticket, right? Grace has 12,000 workforce, right? Julie side has about 1,000, but her company has about 170, if I remember correctly. It's a very big global company, but she has managed about 1,000. Chee side about 3,000 plus, right? Malaysia.
Globally 12,000.
Globally 12,000. And Felicia, your whole
Locally 700.
Okay, so from here we can actually all learn as well. How you manage your team, you manage yourself, and the day-to-day during MCO.
during MCO. Okay, during MCO, of course, most of them work from home, of course, but we still need to go to office, especially when we need to, the first, I think, 2 months, we still need to pay people, you know. That's why my colleague has to go back to the office, but of course, we have just skeleton of staff going back for the safety. I was at home, so we did a lot of phone call through emails and all that to make sure that everything is in order. I couldn't even walk very well that time, so I was really stay put at home to direct a lot of them by phone call. A lot of them by phone call, and because I have a very good team, my heads of departments also help me a lot, support me a lot in the sense that they manage their own team. So I think it's also very important to empower and to trust your team during this challenging time. You know, you cannot be, you know, you want to get everything involved and all that. More so my condition, you know, I can't walk and I can't even go to the office. So I found that during that 2 months, I learned, you know, to now that I don't trust them, now that I even trust them more, you know, to get them, empower them to do what they need to do. And as far as just let me know, okay, done, you know, consider it done and all that. So this is something I think very important I learned from managing people online or work from home, you know, first few months that we have. And then after the MCO is a CMCO or RMCO, we have 50%, yeah, the 50% of work. And like Julie said, what we did also, we learned also in organization is that we empower the head to decide. You decide who should come back and who should stay at home. So we were telling them, one of the tips is that those especially who have children, young children, you know, they can work from home, allow them to work at home. This is how you set priority, because you say, hey, it's not fair, you know, why some people can work at home, some people office. So we say, oh, this is something. Like, so my boss also said that, hey, HR is not the one who decide. The head will know the staff better, and they are the one who decide. So this is where I see the empowerment really practice, you know, during this difficult time, that we need to have trust, you know, in place to trust our employees, and then the head decide. So like initially it was like everybody, you know, text me, Grace, what should I do? You know, who should stay at home? You know, that kind of thing. I say, no, you all decide, okay? Don't come to us. HR no longer, you know, like the policeman or whatever, to decide who stay home and so on. So this is something that I see a lot change. Now on the stress part is really, I felt that EQ is very important, you know, how you manage your stress level, you know, and also learning to let go at time, you know, just let go of things. If beyond your control, like MCO, COVID-19 is beyond our control. I think don't get so stressed out about it. Initially, yes, but learn how to distress yourself. And I exercise at home, even during the MCO. Even now, gym already open. Immediately the gym open, I was the first one to go into the gym, okay, to work out, and 2 to 3 times a week. I still practice that. So I actually exercise my knee, and that is one of the things that I distress myself. To work out, to sweat, and then when you take shower, and that is very fresh to go to the office and work. So to me, exercise is very important, and your emotional state is also very important to learn how to let go. Yeah.
Okay. And on top of that, it's baking on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, so how about you, Julie? How do you manage your lifestyle, balance it out, you know, on this work that we have just set a context? For me, basically, not much changes in terms of whether I'm working in the office or at home. Even though most of the time I'm working in the office, yeah, I'm not that I don't have a choice, I can work from home, but I think my preference will be in the office to be there for them, because initial part of the MCO, we have a lot of challenges, right? So the authority came to check, the police came to investigate, you know, we have to answer. And then I think for us HR, we really have to make sure that our people feel safe, and you know, all these challenges being managed, so they do not have any obstacle when they are coming to work. So that is the first thing that in my mind I need to tackle, right? So in terms of the stress, that how we handle, I think when you really think that something is not in your control, like Grace say, you need to learn how to let go. Yeah. So how to let go, and also the other thing for me is reaching out, right? So when you really think something that you cannot resolve, you cannot keep it with yourself. You just have to reach out to us, yeah. So in a way, you have many connections, you have many friends that you can ask to. You just have to reach out and seek for help. I think that's something that I did a lot this year, right? Because there are so many unclear, you know, instructions from the government. There are so many unclear directions, and I even reached out to the same industry HR that I not even met her face to face, but because I got a contact, I just WhatsApp her, and then we exchange idea. Through that, we become you know, good friend, but you know, haven't meet face to face yet until today, right? But we exchange a lot of idea, industry practices, how we actually did that, you know, because I'm in the logistics, it's my also new industry to me. So I need to go and reach out to actually have this connection, so we are stay also relevant in the same industry, right? So this is something that in doing this year is something special to me as well. I think for me, I would say I'm somebody that really can manage stress very well. Internally, at the personal side, I also have a son that have a special condition. There is also another stress for me during this pandemic. So and also on the working side. And sometimes I think you just need to reach out. You must know your limit. Yeah. I also agree on some point Felicia said you must also take care of yourself first. Then only you are able to take care of other. So the first thing that you need to love yourself first, and you can spread that to other as well. So you have to not talking about ourselves is selfish, but you must make sure that you are well taken care of your mind, your heart, your emotion, and then you have the capacity to really give all this to others, to your family, and even to your colleague. Yeah. So in terms of my team, they are very young. So I also need to give them a lot of flexibility. Like, I have the mother just finished a maternity. I say, it's okay, you stay at home, no need to come to office. It's because it's high risk. You have a young baby, right? You can work from home. Something that she really appreciate very much. And then the other one is husband need to go to office to work. So yeah, we need to empower, like we say, we need to trust them, right? So long they can actually, deliver their work at home, just so be it, yeah. So that's something, a lot of new discovery this year lah.
Additionally, on
Yeah.
the lifestyle front, anything else you did besides empowering people? How do you keep yourself beautiful, youthful, or active?
I always believe you have to do something that make yourself happy. Yeah, like I enjoy talking to Felicia and enjoy eating her baking. So sometimes like while we are studying a guideline at home, right? In front of a laptop, you have a cup of wine next to you. Do something like
Enjoyment.
yeah. Sometimes I think it's also because in our daily activity as HR, right, we absorb a lot of negativity, right? Because we listen to people grievances, we need to tackle a lot of issues. Sometimes like Grace say, we have no choice because the business is suffering. We may have to let go because of we lost certain account. So that is the most painful thing in HR that we still need to do, right? This is something that negatively we absorb. So it's just like our daily lifestyle. When you go back, you need to shower. You need to know how to release, right? Don't keep all these things. You have to decide whether this is in your control and this is not in your control. You have to decide. Yeah. Sometimes even it's in your control, but it's not a right timing. You can't do anything. You just have to wait for the timing to come. Yeah. So that is what I'm trying to put my logical mind. They put things in the paper and then we, trash it out. If anything they are not happy with, talk, discuss, must be a solution. Yeah. So this is how we try to maintain, do something make you happy. Yeah.
Okay, and Felicia, I understand a bit that some days you have to manage unions. During this year, how did this impacted you? How did your workforce, how do you manage? I'm just using this as one example. It's an element of stress, right? How is it managed when there's situation like this year versus many other years? How you manage your lifestyle, balance it back up?
Wow.
Mm.
Union, it doesn't, okay, with the tone doesn't mean that it's not good. Yeah. It is how we manage and how we kind of like manage each other's expectation. Now, when you talk about definitely, I'm glad that in our organization, throughout this MCO, yes, we lost some businesses. Businesses are slow, coming in, and Fuji Xerox, we do have majority of our business is actually print as well. So when people are working from home, print are less and less. People don't print. Doesn't mean that there's none. Yeah, but there's less. So those are the things that we need to take into consideration. During this period, I'm glad that in our discussion with union, they also agree with certain steps that because during MCO there are so many people who are clearing leave, right? In the collective agreement now, you can carry forward leave, but what we do is we kind of like appeal to them, and I'm glad they understand. Yeah, so those sort of thing that I'm most importantly, when you talk about union, we just need to work together. Just they understanding the business, we understanding their needs. I think it's similar to any other employees. It's nothing different, right? So that's a little bit about work. Now on the personal side, how do I manage stress? Like the question. I bake. I just do baking. Yeah. The very simple thing. The minute I'm doing my baking, right? Either it's a new recipe or it's an old recipe. The minute I start doing it, I forget about everything. I'm just so into it. I can bake from morning till evening. That's why if you are my neighbors, right? Then come down.
She's
Yeah,
in,
but
she's in also.
I'm not very far. I'm 5 minutes from you. Yeah, I taste the big very nice.
Yeah, I do agree with what Suli say. Yes, we have to really take care of ourselves. Otherwise, and then as what Grace say, EQ, need to manage it. Having said that, sometimes you really need to consciously be aware that you don't take your staff or your family member for granted, because if you do that, then you just snap. The minute you snap, they suffer.
Yeah.
You know, but I have to admit that if my staff is watching, that happened. My team member was watching,
Yes.
that does happen. I'm not an angel. And if my family member is watching, that happened. As I'm saying that, I'm also reminding myself.
Yeah.
At least you
Right?
Thanks for sharing. How about you, Chee? How do you manage your lifestyle and balance back up? Because you're purely a lot at home,
Yeah.
most times.
Share everything already. So I think it's the same thing, right? So I think in early years when I was in Intel, I have a opportunity to work from home, and I experienced of like some of you mentioned that you wake up in pajamas and you don't change, and you won't brush your teeth, and you close the night with even with your own pajamas. So I learned that a lesson. So nowadays I do the usual thing. I do make sure that I go to exercise. So that's one thing that I do. I do enjoy a coffee. I do make sure that I dress up. It's not in a long sleeve, but in a more cool work from home style, right?
Yeah.
So I know how to make sure that I start the day, and I try to make sure that I disconnect, know how to disconnect. That's why I make sure that I will have a wine. I will make sure that I have watch a Netflix just to cool down and do the gardening. That's how I start, and that's how but then again I noticed that I spend long hours working, and that because there's a lot of what we call, like some of you, the stress sometimes is that everyone's looking for you. Okay, and they know they are free. So when we used to work from home, I always say that we start working after 6 p.m. The reason is because when you're at office, people come to see you, and a lot of times, sometimes you also have your own quiet time when you drive. You can listen to my FM, you can also to me. And now I don't listen to radio anymore. You don't have the quiet time to yourself. Everything is just one meeting after another, and sometimes in TDCX we have so many buildings. So after one meeting and another meeting, I have a time to even exercise because I can move from building to building and have time to be myself. So having time to ourselves become less. And even I used to have 1 hour or 1.5 hour for lunch. Now my lunch hour become half an hour because before you can finish another one, people call, right? And you don't want to disappoint them, and you take the call and so on. So that's why you will have stress. So that's why some of you might resonate, because you might be facing the same thing. So that's very important, like what all of you say, we need to take care of ourselves. Okay, and how we are continuing to be able to distress, which is true. For me, it's also exercise. So one exercise that I can't do right now is swimming, as you all know. Swim. So nowadays, I jog, right, or I cycle. But like today, I go and jog. And after I jog, sometimes I sit down. It's not. I stand and listen, watching people, because there's a music in the park and people dancing. So you sometimes it become a distress for you, because when I swim, I go to jacuzzi, so I can't do that right now. If I run, then I will just stay for a while and just listen to people, enjoy people enjoying themselves. You can see the happiness when they dance. So it's also reflect, oh, that is the life. That's why sometimes it's always to have your own time.
Yeah.
Because that will help you to reflect back and have that happiness, because if not, your life will be very busy with meetings. And for me, I also guilty because I also induce stress to the organization. And the reason is because I find that it's opportunity for HR. It's a good opportunity, and I take that. And because I take the opportunity, I also induce a lot of stress. I'm also mindful of that. And also sometimes induce a stress on that. So that's why sometimes we have to step back.
Yeah.
Okay. And the second thing, I also like the idea that the hill of influence, I call it. What are the things that we can actually influence? The one that we cannot influence, like COVID-19, just go with it, right? Rather than complaining and so on. So yeah, so I think it's very important. I remember what I always want to make sure I take care of that, because I need to maintain the energy level. And because it's become long hours, how do I maintain the energy level from the morning to until gardening? So,
Me time.
and exercise help me, because when I exercise, I feel my body is so refreshed. Okay, and especially when you have wine, you feel that wine help me because
No guilty. It's guilty pleasure.
it will detect whether I got COVID-19 before I can so I can smell means I don't have problem with
Sense of taste and
COVID-19.
smell, right?
Then you feel you are enjoying at the same time, and you appreciate life more, right? And of course, the other side of it with your family. I have an opportunity. I look at COVID-19 as an opportunity, because usually I spend a lot of time in office. Because of COVID-19, I spend time with my kids more. During the time they are having a semester break before they go back to UK, timely. So I really spend. So I take it very positively, because I really can spend time with them, because they are actually semester break, and now they are back. So I hope that's why I work from home, because there's an opportunity that I'm trying to be with them, right? And now I also need to be mindful, because the kids are not around there. I need to take care of my wife. How to make sure I work, how we are continuing to make sure that there's a lunch and a dinner and her activities. How do I accommodate that? So it becomes a different. But what I'm trying to say, that each and every one of us will go through a different challenges and different changes. But the most important thing is appreciate what you have, be gratitude what you have, and like what some of you mentioned, always get the support from others. That's why I love the idea of our get together on Friday, because sometimes we get together.
Secret is out. The secret is out.
Yeah, because we like to spice our life. It cannot be just at home, and it cannot be just doing one thing. And that's why I love this session too, because we are actually spending weekend, no?
Yeah.
But we hope that our sharing can impact others.
Yes.
And all this actually is
Yeah,
distress
it's true.
Very good sharing, and this segment that we were talking a lot about is about lifestyle, how we manage and balance up, amidst a pandemic that has just landed like landslide upon us just how many months ago? Yeah, since March. So here there's be just to wrap up this segment, we know that here is health doesn't always come from medicine. During this whole duration of 10 months, right, COVID has caused us a lot of hassle. Some have to go through a lot in the hospital and medicine. So health is not always about medicine. It's about our peace of mind that we've spoken about, how we manage our me time, our own time, where it got so clouded. Sometimes it also clouds me, because like what some of you have shared, I'm working from home, I wake up, computer, go and look for food. My computer next call. Then by the time it's night, you can't differentiate day and night anymore, right? So in short here, be present. Sometimes we forget that we have to be in the present moment and live the moment. Just like Kung Fu Panda, I just want to wrap this up. The favorite quote there is always saying that yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift. It's called present. So appreciation, that what Chee has mentioned, is appreciating things that we have around us, appreciating the people that I've heard some of you have mentioned, the people that you have, being trustful, start and creating the element, practicing trust, empowerment to your team members. Inducing stress to people is a good thing and also bad thing, but create element of, team. So let's wrap up this segment, right? Thank you very much for sharing your personal, lifestyle. And the third segment, the fourth segment now, we're going to move a little bit deeper inside into workplace a little bit. workplace that has already no distinction really today. And basically, one question here is, just now we touched a little bit about how things changes from time to time rapidly. So we want to learn a little bit from how four of you, right, have actually managed to manage changes. How do you get updates? How did you get your updates on the changes of situation in Malaysia the last 10 months? Because you are the front line of the workforce. So how did you actually manage that? Besides having your, antenna higher, getting, how do you verify, validity of information so that you can make informed decision to empower and set policies during the last 10 months?
Actually, you look at the last 10 months, we receive a lot of information just in our phone,
Yeah.
just too many, right? But I think it's a good part that, we still have the channel to verify, which is our government had created this Telegram, right? Whatever you receive in the WhatsApp, group, we have a lot of sharing. So the second thing we need to verify is whether this is from the right source and also whether it's from the official government channel. And we also cross-check with each other, in the HR community. So that is what we do, yeah. So in terms of sharing best practices, we usually leverage on the same industry, because every industry has different SOP to follow, right? And the rules and regulations also very different. So this is from my side, how I do, yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing I learned also, from the so many information that we receive, I think we need to calm down a little bit, not to like immediately take action. Yeah, because like some of you experience the government change, their direction,
We don't want to be so straightforward.
Yeah. So I was receiving so many texts, from my colleague, Grace, what should we do? How many hours we should work a day? Which part of the management side have to work into? There's so many. So I said, calm down. Let us gather more information, because morning immediately the announcement was made. I was flooded with phone call and also text and all that. So what I learned in the past few months was that calm down. I said, wait. Okay, wait, we let's see what happened, because I think somebody will have representative or to voice out to the government or certain ministry that it may not work. Let the company decide what they want to do, how they want to do it. So my boss also very calm and cool now, and then also the rest of the head of department, my team also, I also tell them, don't panic, we still have time, because we still have 2 or 3 days to decide to send out memo and all that. Like some of you share, HR now become the front and the people look up to you.
Right.
What should we do? That kind of things. Yeah. Memo, the most important thing is everybody is asking a memo, even SOP and all that. Everybody asks, even injection, Pekeso announced, about the 150 that you can claim. So many questions, being raised, and some of them we don't even have the answer. Yes, that's right. So I learned to be calm and composed during this challenging time, not to react to the situation, but see what we can do. Then only we respond to the question. Some of them I just say, wait. I don't even want to elaborate a lot. Especially they say, what should we do, Grace? Are you going to send out memo and all that? I say, no, wait. The first month, of course, it's like we're in a panic mode. We don't know what to do and all that. I think when things get better and then we know what to do, how to handle the situation, I think that is very important for me, the lesson that I learned. Yeah.
Staying in the zen mode. What's the right thing to do?
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, just now a bit soft, right? Knowing what's the right thing to do was the question here, because I believe all of us who are watching this show, we are in the department where everyone looks up to all of you, for what's next, what to do with this, do what. So it's coming back to doing things right, or what's the right thing to do in the midst of this chaos, this whole year. So how about both of you? In short, we just want to have a quick understanding, just few bullet points. How do you mitigate this? How do you get updated info, and what's the right thing to do?
For us, I have an assigned person who actually watch out for the news especially being announced by MOH, which happen every day, and also our NSC, our minister actually announced that every day. I think recently he has not done it every day, but MOH definitely every day, right? Either doesn't matter what time, right? So like Julie said, we get messages from WhatsApp, but I always make sure that this assigned person verifies that. Verify with the government portal. Then once that is verified very quickly, or at a very timely, timing, and we advise if there's any change, no changes, they put like what Grace say,
How?
keep cool.
Yeah.
We need to say that.
Yeah.
We need to say that, So then we need to advise our management. Yeah, if there's anything that we need to change, yes, we can do it. Just like the one that 10% of the supervisory and management.
That was
There was a lot of confusion in the very beginning.
Yes.
So we really need to sit down, get our legal together, get my MD was with me, 3 of us will sit down, let's how do we interpret? It came out 3 of us have got 3 different interpretations. So how interesting that, right?
Yeah.
So that was only clarified after a few days, right? So when it came out, the SOP came out. So we have to be very clear ourselves in our thought that cater to our organization. What does this mean to our organization? Very important. Don't just take anything from the WhatsApp. It's not that it's not true, but it may not cater for your organization, right? So that's one. What's the other question?
Oh, it was very
That's
much
about it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And Chee, anything to add on?
Sure, I think I like the answer of be calm and don't act too fast, right? Like for me, same thing, right? I think one of the key takeaways is filtering out the right information.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of information for times to come, but how you are able to filter out what is needed for you. And for me, I have to look at 10 countries. And for example, sometimes I don't get the information that I said. Now we want to hire somebody from Dubai and move to Japan. And I also do not know whether Japan accept an expat travel. So I have to ask, right? So right now, how we are able to get information, filter out information, and also to source for new information is going to be very, very key. And make a timely decision and not to rush and be calm in one area. But what I also learned is that continue to focus what we're doing. As I always mention, what is under our sphere of influence. So our current strategy have never changed. The only difference is that we intervene with a lot of right now we are employee survey. So we roughly know what is actually the concern that employee is bringing out. And also when I have like for example HR Connect, like Company Connect, I'm able to get questions, and that helps me a lot to change, like what you say, do we need to change? So usually I don't change my strategy unless the result or the feedback given, and then we will change accordingly. So yes, we have to change because we will never get the same result. So like what Einstein to say, like it's insane to focus on same thing, right? And
Expecting different result.
So those are the things that we definitely need to change. And what we learned today is like next week we are implementing the real time. I think I shared with you that a more real time feedback. So we are implementing a system that enable employee to provide weekly feedback right now. So question of how's the day? So those are the things that now we think that is very important right now, especially that we have a lot of days that we're all working from home. So these are some of the things that we have to change to accommodate the environment. So I think like what you say, we have to change, but not necessarily that you need to change if you think that it's still workable. So I think it has to be fit to what is needed of an organization, as I always mention. So that's very, very important. And don't jump. I always see people, what's next? What is next? I say, wait, because the next thing you can wait. Why go and feel and panic? Why go and panic? You want to get the answer. And I'm sure that our colleagues all will give the information when they have the information. That's really so, and that's what you are saying, the here influence is going to be very important. Stay calm and focus on your current journey. Don't because of something new. Every focus is going to the new thing. Because the new thing doesn't necessarily is important. It's just an interruption. But that interruption might not interrupt your business. It might interrupt certain business. It might not be for you. And why you worried? So those are the things that will help you to be less stressful. I enjoy the wine, okay?
Most important.
Okay, before I wrap up this, I just wanted to hear from all of you just one or two answers, all right, to this question, all right, so that everyone can just learn from you that you face in your workplace. What are the top 2 key challenges that you faced this year? You know, that was somewhat a bit different compared to many years. Just 2, so at least everyone can learn the highlights of what are the challenges that you face. being leading and managing as a HR in your industry, in your corporation? Anyone can start. This is a deep question.
I think I can start.
Yeah, because
I
there's
think,
three ways, right?
I think one of the challenges is communication.
Mm.
I noticed that because it's become harder when we communicate, whether the message is passed through, right, to the lowest level. Even regular meetings. I noticed that sometimes people today multitasking, especially when you don't turn on your videos. They have less engaged, and sometimes we can't bring them because they have to other work that they need to go and work, and then communication become more difficult, and we don't know whether the message is passed through. Remember, as I was mentioned, email is only 7% effectiveness of communication. A phone call is only 33%. Of course, the face-to-face is 100%, but a conference without a video is almost like a phone call. So, and we have to be mindful. A lot of time we notice that sometimes communication and understanding is not there, and we have to do it again. And that become one of the challenges because it's very important for the communication and people to understand the direction. The second one is still the safety and health of the organization. We always feel, and it will continue for next year, right? We're going to find that even we go back to home, go from office, is somebody fever, everyone will worry. Fever. I think that will be always the fear, even when we have vaccine, right?
So there's a lot of asymptomatic also.
Correct. So these will continue to be very, very mindful as we move on, and health and safety is going to be one of the challenges. I mean, how do we make sure our employees continue to be safe, right? Especially those really required to work from office, and how we continue to make sure that they are social distancing. How do we continue to make sure that if they have fever, they don't come to work? And we do have sometimes people violating that, and it's very scary. When we found out that they actually have fever and they're in office. And thank God nothing happened. What if something happened, right? And those are the things that will continue to be a challenge, whether people are following the SOP and the fear of safety and health.
Thanks,
Chee, you're right. We have a few cases where the children's teacher got infected, with COVID-19. The panic coming, what should we do? So the best thing is actually to go for quarantine. So a few of my staff actually, even with my team, I said, don't come. Stay at home, work from home and all that. I think this is the measure that we have to take. The safety of the staff is very important. We constantly remind our staff about measuring their temperature, and then we also receive complaint from the security guard. After a while, people get complacent. They don't really measure temperature and record and all that. In fact, we have an apps. We're able to detect. From the apps, we actually go to Google spreadsheet to see whether they sign up or not. So we found that some of the staff did not sign up. They just bypass, So we had to get a security guard to sit down there and then make sure whoever walk into the office, they have to scan. It doesn't matter whether they are VIP, the executive director, whatever, they have to scan temperature and then they have to record in the apps that we have. So safety to us, and then we go around and check also. Our room, we limited to, meeting room, we limit maybe to 4 or 8 people. We make sure that 8 people are only inside there, because whether we like it or not, we had to make sure they comply, because we cannot take the risk of having one person infected and the whole office had to be shut down, sanitized, and this will be totally a distraction. So that's why I really agree with Chee that this current challenging time is actually to ensure everybody's safety in the organization. Yes, we need staff to come back and work, but it's also us to make sure that they comply with the SOP that we had set, either by the government or either by our organization. So we have to be very strict. We have no choice to become policemen, to check, even CCTV. We even go to the CCTV and check who, did not. Because right now we are actually testing it. We remove the security guard. We are checking now whether the staff comply or not, because you cannot have like the security guard all the time, on duty. So I'm actually asking my staff, let's look at the CCTV whether the staff comply or not. If not comply, we better put back the security guard.
I like to hear that from you. Maybe after your observation for the next.
We just discussing about last Friday, because the security guard complained that some of the staff did not. So what we do is we really go to the attendance list to check whether they key in the temperature, and then we actually address with the head to ask them to make sure that they comply, because in case the authority come and check, we will be fine and we cannot. And also, it's also most importantly, I tell you, it's for the safety of all the employees who come back to office to work.
Okay,
Then
yes.
compliance is another,
Yeah.
safety is another, communication is another.
Yeah.
Is there any other challenges that you have faced apart from these three? There was just shared, which I guess is across board that all of you would have faced.
I think that is across the board, right? Like for logistic industry like us, safety and health is far more important than other industry. Our people are all working in the warehouse, right? So how are you going to create a safe space for them to work and make sure they do not have fear to come to work, right? So that is biggest challenge that we have. And we also have the foreign worker in the workforce itself. So safety and health is really biggest challenge. So what we can do is really every morning we need to brief, walk through again, remind them again, go on site and check, Yeah, so now that we cannot go to the physical side to check, so we actually working with the regional, they came up with this visual audit, using the iPad, how to actually go through using the CCTV technology as well. So this is something that we are working closely with IT to make sure that we still can do that. Yeah, on the audit checkpoint to ensure that we are fully comply with the SOP. Yeah, so I fully agree with Grace and also Chee on that part. This is our biggest challenge. We foresee is going to go on for another year. Yeah, that's right. And on top of that, the challenge is also how are you going to take care of their mental health, right? Because when they are coming to work, they have a lot of emotional need to go through, right? They are actually fear of their own safety and also for their own family, right? And for us, that in the industry is very labor intensive, and this is also another balancing act we need to play. While you wanted to achieve your business result, while maintaining the work still going on, but you still want to make sure that they are really don't have the fear, the mental is very calm and cool, coming to work without any fear. So this is something that continuously we are still addressing and balancing it. Yeah.
This will be with us for every other day moving forward. And Felicia,
I just want to add one to what you guys have said. The challenge that I face is actually speed. As in this, what I mean by that, before MCO, things that you see your staff very often, right? You see your team, you see the other department as well. Things get done pretty fast. Now with MCO, you start with MCO, CMCO, or MCO, either because people are managing, either working from home, even as a hybrid, you work from home and sometimes you work in the office. So you do notice that things get slowed down along the way. Doesn't mean that bad, but you need to manage that. As a leader, sometimes we had, oh, I wish that I get that yesterday, I mean, it's very common, right? But then again, we must understand why we cannot get that yesterday. Some maybe the staff are not there, even though for our customer, not all for our sales people to meet the customer is not even in the office. They are working from home.
Yeah.
So that affect again, whether you have to close. Yeah, you have to close the sales. How fast you can close that sales, right? A documentation, a signature. But of course now we are
changes.
Yeah. But then again, approval. Yeah. So that get delayed a little bit along the way. So I find that speed is a challenge. On top of all what you guys have said, definitely safety, mental health is one. Yeah. Really need to take care of, especially our team, as what we said earlier. Be aware of their mental health as well.
Thank you so much for sharing. Of course, at one more point is frontliners. Those frontliners and the salespeople, they used to meeting people to close deals. Now everything changes. I for one doing that, and I've been going crazy. The last one, the way we have to operate and close deals is different now compared to then, right? Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing this particular segment, and view of time I have to pass on now. This time back to you to move forward.
Thanks, June. Yeah, I was signaling, No, so this is kind of the last segment before we go on to close the session. So this is segment 5, where I don't think I want to take a lot of time, right?
Okay.
But I think it's also the most important question. What would be the mistakes, poor decision? I think we all make poor decision. I think this is something everyone can learn, right? I know it's a tough question. because to admit, right? But so that everyone can learn and will not repeat that same thing. What would that be?
Missed opportunities,
Miss,
decisions or missed opportunities, especially this year.
yes. Anyone wants to start? Poor decision,
or even things that was
mistakes.
difficult that you have to learn to do and you have to do it, especially this year. Things that you may have not ever done or made that choice, but you made it, and maybe it did not turn out, as to what you have planned, but it's definitely because it's new to this year.
Maybe let me start. I'm still tackling this issue. So I think during this year is very challenging, and in our plan itself, we wanted to launch our e-lead. Yeah. So this is one of the biggest learning I have. I have actually set a plan to delay for 1 quarter because of the MCO. And by second quarter, the third quarter, I am definitely wanted to make it go live. Yeah. But because of too rushing on certain data migration part, so we make some mistake in terms of the accuracy of the data. So we had to take a painful step to impose a blackout period of this system go live, and we are doing the rectifying at the back end now. So I think that is also something that I learned. Because of the challenges in communication, like Chee say, right? Because team are working at home and some are in the office, and we couldn't really have a better mutual understanding of where are the status now. And that is one of the mistake I think, if I can turn back the clock, do it better, I think that's something I can improve is in terms of the communication, right? To have the better understanding of where we are and closely monitor the status, so we will not have to land into today's situation. We need to really black out the entire go live date to do a total data cleansing in the back end before we decided to reopen again. And everyone need to work around the clock and even the weekend. Yeah. So this is something that, I think that is mistake, and then we learn, and then we'll make it better the next time. Yeah.
Thank you, Silly, for the first time. Song the first bell.
Yeah, I think maybe
so I really agree. Communication, when we are not face to face, is the biggest challenge actually on the project management.
I like what Chee said just now. Communication doesn't mean understanding.
Correct.
Yeah. I'll just add on what the missed opportunity or the mistake. I would like to focus with my team, right? I think what the missed opportunity, if I can turn back the clock a little bit, I think I would like to spend a bit more time understanding each team member, what were their challenges. I think that was not done enough. Yeah. I think we do have expectations sometimes, but we miss out knowing that what were they facing actually.
Personal touch.
Yes, very personal touch. Not a very big team, but I guess individually we should have that touch base more often.
I agree with you.
Because there's a lot of, at least everybody are trying to, everybody are trying their best, right? I think not only for my team, I believe every manager out there, as I'm saying this, I like to remind myself and also you, I think I believe I mentioned earlier, if not for them, we are nothing, right? So pay a little bit more attention to your team, what they do, how they are doing, what are the challenges that they are facing. Yeah.
I'd like to add on before passing. This is very important because a lot of times we find that their performance may drop or they may have some challenges that we may not even know. Take for example, working from home. Not everyone has a conducive environment, has a room just to do online, or even have children taking care. Most mothers I know, they're so happy when they are able to go back to work. So I think that is something we all overlook. It's not on our KPI, it's not on the job description, but it's happening real life. So I think that is something really need to look into.
Yeah.
Okay, I can go next. That's also the one thing that I learned out of 8 months working remotely, right? So going back to the effective communication, I call it again because we should give more time for people because there's a lot of changes going on right now that every one of you are implementing. So we should give more time for this integration, pre-integration and integration. And communication that we used to do face-to-face might need longer time. And I think that is something that we need to incorporate because I noticed that sometimes the site doesn't able to comprehend on the changes and doesn't slow down. So that's why that's one thing that if we do, this is one thing that we'll do. The other thing that Felicia had mentioned is true, the challenges. I myself personally, because we are very output based, and I myself is a very output based. I have give what we call performance message to a few of my staff just because they are not performing. But if I do it again, I should understand their challenges. I should spend more time to listen more their challenges because this year is a bit different compared to previous years. So that's what I think. If I do again, I might listen more. I might asking their challenges. Be more empathy. The empathy level is not the regular empathy anymore. The empathy that we need to consider with the COVID-19, and as I also mentioned, we don't see what happened in their personal life today. Because sometimes body language we can see they're unhappy, but sometimes you can't see because the time span is so short with them. So we don't know what happened, especially when they meet with you, they doesn't express anything. So and this is one area that I think I learned out of it. So that's what to share. If I do it again, I'll do it.
I think for me the same thing because Chee just now mentioned about KPI and all that. We set the whole year KPI. Most of them was keep on postponing and all that. So we do have a performance session and all that going on. It's just to keep track where they are right now and how we're going to move forward for next year. A lot of project that we want to do now have been postponed to next year. And this year we're saying that we are not going to penalize the staff, for not, let's say, reaching or achieving their KPI because of the COVID-19 situation. A lot of project has been shelved. So I learned also to be more understanding of the situation, be more patient, saying that when they come to see me, Grace, I didn't achieve. I say it's okay because we know this situation, is beyond our control. So I learned also to be more understanding in that sense, to what you all say, empathize with our staff that this is really thing beyond control. But what I also need to look at is the other thing that they are doing. What have they done, to overcome the challenges that they face? And that could actually replace or add on to their KPI, which is beyond measurement to me, how they manage the crisis, how they come up with video. Even my team, Lawrence and the team come up with video on the SOP and all that. My team went round, come back to the office to make sure sanitization is done because I'm also in charge of admin. SOP is in place. That is, to me, is already job done for the year. I mean, for the few months that they have to make sure that compliance to the SOP, coming up with the SOP on the temperature measurement, how many person in the room and all that. So to me, I say it replaced by whatever already they have done. So I think this is what also I learned, that we cannot stick, to the plan that we have earlier on, but we need to change it because of the situation change. So that's why what we wanted to do is that be flexible about things. Don't be so fixed that they didn't achieve, then you penalize them, for not achieving the goal that's set for them. So what I did also, just last week, I went to actually see my boss. We wanted to do this because of the energy. I think some of you may also feel that the energy in the office is low. In the sense, people also were so stressed out, so concerned about their safety, and especially you hear somebody close to them, suspected of COVID-19 cases, the children's teacher and all that. So I just thought that's an idea. I said, why don't we do something different, because our engagement activity are all stopped. So we think about, because also now it's about reaching out to people, right? So I tell them, I say, why don't we come out with a charity drive? Christmas is coming up. A charity drive where the staff actually now maybe it's time to give. You focus on making a difference in other people. So I went to see my boss. I said, why are you doing this? I said, ask me, why would you want to? I said, actually, it's to raise up the energy a bit. The spirit of giving. It's Christmas. It's about Christmas or giving. So what we do is we tie up with our corporate account to identify 2 homes. Rumah Hope, I think the other one is Rumah Cherries, to actually ask the children to write down the wish list that they have. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a mini fair because we know that people cannot go shopping. So we bring the fair to the office, You know, on the 8th, we have Christmas tree, but it's a very they use what LED light to make an office, and then all the wish of the children we're going to put on the Christmas tree, and then each of the staff, you know, will take the wish of each of the children, and then buy whatever things that you know have a Christmas mini fair, Secret Santa, you know. So I thought that could be something very meaningful because again, of course, we had to practice social distancing and all that. So that's why I thought sometimes we need to think a bit further. Yes, you know, all of us are very down, very upset. What can we do, you know, to our employee to lift up the energy a little bit higher, especially Christmas now, even like you go to shopping mall, it's dead, you know, that nobody want to go there and shop. So why don't we bring that mini fair? So what we did is that we get our borders books staff to come in and display some of the products that they have. It can books, it can be stationery, you know, it can be some of the education toy that they sell. And this is what we did. We're going to do it, you know, on the 8th. So that I feel quite excited. My team also like suddenly, you know, the energy you can see, you know, build out the spirit of different purpose that, I can still do something different, you know, even during this challenging COVID-19. And then in fact, last Friday, one of the subsidiary contact me, say, Grace, can we do a sales in the office? I said, what sales? They want to sell this, they want to bring to the office also because their shop is in the shopping mall. We call it Jolly Bean. I'm not sure whether you heard of Jolly Bean and Joy Bean. The CEO come and say, Grace, can I set up a store? I said, of course, you're welcome, you know. So they really set up, you know, people crowded to buy the soya bean, the taufu fa and all that. You know, again, it's about bringing the product to the office if they cannot go and shop. So I found that was really good idea. Bringing to the office, and you know, they have a few thousand sales, you know, they have a few thousand sales. They were so excited. So you can see these are some of the things that will excite, you know, the employees and all that. And then we had another company approach us. Kenny Rogers now suddenly texted me, Grace, we also want to do the same thing. I say, what? I want to sell turkey. So this is something, Thanksgiving, and also because of Christmas, we also got turkey. So this is what I think we can do to help. And indirectly, we are helping our company's business also. You know, Starbucks also very often have staff sales in our office. They come to the office, sell the mugs, the coffee and all that. So this is something, and we got some discount, 18%, you know. So this is something that I believe also try to do something that is really exciting. And we know that we cannot bring, they cannot go shopping and all that. Why don't we bring it to them? Of course, with the SOP, you know, social distancing and all that. So this is what we had done. Even other company, we also bring out some merchants to come and sell their things in the office.
I think to summarize also, I really like the excitement part. And I think we started off with impact, impacting other people's life, impacting employees. I think this is one of the impact, giving the purpose back, you know, not just a daily. COVID is a very sad situation. All of us got affected, but this brings a new positivity, right? This also brings the new light, and also I think probably now we go into the next segment because of time. We also want to just find out a little bit on 2021, right? So we have talked about the past. What about what's coming? The new era.
Challenges, you know, your personal, you know, journey, and then how you deal with your team, how you deal with your workforce, and then you know, we brought up highlights and the lowlights. So what's next? You know, what could be the upcoming norm? What's trends? Or just think of maybe one or two, just in short, because we are almost you know, at the height of our show already. We just want to hear from you off your cuff, you know, your plans. You know, what could be the possible trend? What could be the possible changes for the challenges that you face this year that will be carried forward, right? What could it be? And so that every one of us can help as well. Just your thoughts.
Okay, I start. COVID is here to stay.
I think yesterday got announcement.
With all this, right? So you just need to live with it. Right? Take care of yourself. Be very, very vigilant. Safety, health is very important. Right? That's on a personal basis. I think as an organization, we must ask ourselves, for the business, what's the next norm? Right? We said new norm. What's the next norm? Right? I think for us, will be digitalization. I think for me, my opinion is way to go is transforming the organization to digital, which we are now already.
Which is
May not
really
be
in a
fully,
place,
yeah. Just I think just continue the journey.
Just like the industry 4.0 for manufacturing, certain industries right, is charging forward. Those industries that have never even heard or talk about industry 4.0, digitalization is the way forward.
Even though ordering things
we have
for your
started to do a
personal
lot of
use.
delivery, right?
Yeah, for your personal use, right? Today we just had a cake, we just delivered here.
Yeah. Off screen.
Yeah.
You're right. I'd like to add. In fact, last Friday I just have a talk with one of our digital company, NIS we call it, the chief data officer, data science officer, and we say, hey, what can Berjaya do, to digitalize a lot of things that we don't have yet, and all those things. So we have a conversation. Lawrence and I and him three of us have a conversation. We are looking at first on the training side. What can he help us with the training side, and also more on the HR side lah. So that's why that is one of the things that we need to work on lah, about
the trend for
training,
will
digitalize,
change.
and
There
all
was
those
one
things,
question
yeah.
from
And
Yes.
assessors and all that,
Virtual,
yeah, virtual, yeah,
Yeah.
virtual,
training
lots of
online,
virtual
a lot
training.
of online training and all that, yeah.
Okay, I think looking into the future, like even in logistics industry, right, we are also going to digitalization, right? Because we are quite heavy in terms of labor. But how are we going to do all this audit? Even like some of the business in not in Malaysia yet, but in other country, they are starting using robotic AI, right, to really do the job that currently is doing by the human now. So this is what we are looking at. If it's from our perspective in terms of HR, right? Of course, we are doing a lot of manual work, right? We need to digitalize it. Like how are you going to apply your leave? How are you going to apply your benefits? And in terms of communication as well, we need to go a lot of digital platform. So not just using email, like Jige say, email is only 7%, right? So we are going to use WhatsApp, Telegram, So for us, right, we say that we have this saying in organization, don't care which platform you use, so long you can reach out to the lowest level of the workforce, whichever channel that work for them. We need to work on a multiple channel of communication. We cannot just purely rely on email, because you cannot place a poster anymore. In the office, there is no people working, right? They are working from home, right? So how can you reach them, right? So you have to use a digital channel. You have to, be innovative to come up with different channel that you can reach them, and still meet the objective you want to achieve. So that is what my view going forward.
I agree. I mean, for the last 8 months, we are investing in the 5 new tools. And that's, I think I shared before. Even in 2021, I just had my strategy plan approved. And it will focus a lot still digitalization. One area. And one of the things that we imagine engagement, right? As I mentioned, we're going to have more frequent feedback. So the tool able to do a regular feedback. And then the dashboard is there for us to review at the weekly basis. So the other things that if you look at the plan, will be a lot of data analytics and tracing and so on. And that will be used much more really, because we're going to be in a hybrid work environment. There will be a home and there will be office. And as you know, recently we also sent Deepawali gift to all employees, and we want to be actually, if their address is wrong, it's actually sent to the wrong place. So we also noticed some of the gift tag was sent to the wrong place. So these are the things that we are now become aware that our data, and how do we continue to forecast, and how do we continue to know that if Klang become a hotspot, who are in Klang directly rather than us who are in Klang. So those data analytics become very, very important for us next year. We noticed that everything will be virtual, like all of you say. Our virtual is all hiring. So, and we have to accept that it's going to be a lot of virtual career fair, which we already started this year. There will be more virtual career fair that's going to be, because we are keep hiring. So we have no choice to continue our virtual. And then the virtual engagement. That what you all have mentioned, I also noticed that we used to be in office. I used to be in office that at 7 p.m. the office is still very vibrant. Recently I went back to office at 7 p.m. It's so quiet. It's like 9 p.m. Full hours
Yeah.
different environment, and how we continue to, although we are doing virtual, how do we continue to have on-site engagement that is going on. So I like the charity, so we also do the same thing, but what are other things that we will need to do? And on Tuesday itself, we are going to celebrate annual dinner. So
How you doing it?
how we are going to do that and continue to engage everyone, right? So and that will continue to happen. I mean, engagement will continue to be something very, very important, especially next year where the mental health, the wellness is going to be even more important.
Yeah. I think it just to echo and also summarize a little bit. Last time, in fact, last year alone, we talked about engagement, employee engagement. We talked about employee experience. I think this year probably we can talk about employee understanding, being empathetic, understanding their situation with data analytics, digitalization. Now you know even better. You know the address they put is wrong.
Especially those who want to declare the address.
Yeah, correct. So I think understanding them now become even more important, not just engaging them, knowing the story behind, because a lot of these are a lot of us when we go to work we detach. Personal is personal, business is business, life is life, right? So I think but today is all integrated more. It's overlapped in a very daily basis. So I just want to summarize this part. And probably we may want to wrap up soon.
So we're gearing towards the finale part. Please stay tuned and don't leave, because we're gonna have one more final photo shoot for those who came in late. Just that's why, hence why we have more before and after as well. So the last portion is just we have gathered several minutes only just for this, is your advice, your tips for all our HR friends and non-HR friends who will be watching, who are watching today, and also who will be watching the rerun. So what is it that you would like to personally advise or share, or tips? Just one thing that if you can, what would you like to impart as inspiration to them today?
In the interest of time, one word.
Yes.
Resilient.
Resilient.
Resilient. Hang on there. Make sure you place it. Yeah.
To me, the word that really resonates with me is to be agile. Really flexible, in view of the uncertainty that we have. So you need to be very, very agile as a HR head, HR person. Yeah.
For me, it's stay positive, stay focused.
Be the one.
Okay.
The last one always a difficult one, right? I think to me it's really the adaptability to the changes, right? Like it conclude all like be agile, flexible, and more important is really your mentally need to be strong and stay positive, right? So that is something that all of us, not in the HR also, we should remain this mentally positive and be mindful. Yeah.
If I may end it with a joke, or not joke, but a situation where we fly frequently, right?
Yeah.
And when during any emergency, we have to take care of ourselves even before taking care of the young ones.
Yeah, that's right.
So
That's right.
so I think this is quite universal that we need to take care of ourselves so we can take care of others.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. And just to wrap it up here, there's this Jimmy Dean say that I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to reach my destination. So we are approaching for next year, we have to plan. All right. And also Socrates also mentioned that the secret to change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, what has been happening, all right, but it's building on the new. So we have already spoke about the low lights and the highlights and the future, what we can prepare for. All right, so everyone stay positive and strive forward, moving forward. Remember what we have learned, a few tips also just to recap. Reach out, all right, if you do not know you are lost, reach out to your peers in the HR community to get the latest news. Sometimes if you're not sure on various industries, this is what I pick up from Suli, all right, and so we look forward to see you in the next. Oh yeah,
Group photo.
Group photo first. I will say the last sentence forward.
Okay, everyone switch on.
Please turn on your camera for the group photo session. Thank you so much for all of you who stayed with us till the end. I know it's a Saturday. We have taken so much of your time. And also to those of you on Facebook live session, thank you so much for joining us. So let's have a group photo session before we give it a wrap up.
Still waiting for some to open up. Okay. Okay, we can do it. Let's do it like this.
Okay?
Right. In 3, 2, 1, go. Awesome. Nice. Right. Okay. In 3, 2, 1, go. Right. We have quite a few.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Leo, do we have a next session? Or?
Yes, we have a rerun session. We will decide on the days. And of course, there are some questions are not answered. We apologize for that, but we will get to those questions probably on Facebook social media. And then, of course, then we will get back to you on our updates and also what will be the next series that we're going to run. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the speakers. You have been wonderful.
Saturday we have spent it's like it's been a really nice session. Coffee session on the side, but we really had real coffee sessions before and after, right?
Yes.
And, really had a lot of good time. Myself also learning from your perspective and your individual journeys, and every little individual journeys that you impart out and share with others. Some others might relate to you, and this really helps everyone to stay calm, stay positive, and that if everything is possible, you can do it, they can also do it. So we really appreciate your time, and also hopefully in the future, other HR practitioners that will be invited by Hacking HR.
Yes.
We really value your time and your experience and your journey, to
Yes.
be able to share and impart to the rest of the HR community.
Last but not least, thank you to our partners UShop for broadcasting this and equipping all of us with this virtual
the
scene.
virtual technology.
Yes, correct. And then thank you to Rumi Travels and Traitquest for making this happen. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.